All right, here we go. The countdown is on. 51 days until my first adventure into the Med. I'm so excited to be flying to Barcelona, Spain to get on the brand new Sun Princess. And yesterday, in my excitement, I booked almost $700 worth of excursions, and I felt pretty good about the excursions. But now that I've slept on those excursions, there's one excursion that I've got a little bit of trepidation about. I'm already wondering, did I make a mistake booking this excursion? In today's show, I'm going to go through all those excursions, talk a little bit about why I'm going on an inaugural cruise when I don't really like going on inaugural cruises. And then I'm going to ask you to help me parse through this decision. Did I just make a big excursion mistake? Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Lido, Loca. I am your host, Tony. I'm here to talk about all things cruising. Man, it's days like these that I am so jazzed to be a cruiser. It's days like these that I am so jazzed to be someone who talks about cruising. Like I said, I was so fired up yesterday. I got on the Princess site and booked excursions, which I rarely book them this far in advance. And I was so excited. I got my buddy Don on the phone and I was like, you got to book these excursions. He booked $700 worth of excursions. And so I want to talk about excursions, but I do want to take a couple moments and talk about this idea of going on the very first cruise of the Sun Princess. Now, I've said several times after going on the inaugural cruise of the Wonder of the Seas that I don't know that inaugural cruises are for me. I found in that circumstance that the ship wasn't quite ready to go, and I was a little disappointed in my experience there, and it's given me pause. It's given me caution about going on inaugural cruises. So I made a list of pros and cons, why I would go on this cruise, why I would not go on this cruise. And the pros far outweighed the cons. Of course, the big con is if I get on this inaugural sailing and the ship's not ready, the shows aren't ready, things aren't the way they should be. Sometimes that happens with inaugural cruises. That would certainly be disappointing, but there's several things on the pro side. First, the ports. This is not an inaugural cruise that's happening in the Caribbean with cruise ports that I've been to many times before. This is an inaugural cruise that's happening in the Mediterranean with all brand new cruise ports for me in a part of the world that I've really only dreamed about going to. That's a big one on the pro side. Another big one is the opportunity to cruise with my friend Don. Beyond my wife, Jenny, Don is really my favorite shipmate. We share a lot of common interests. We like to go out and do exploring. We like to go to the shows. The list goes on and on. It's very fun to cruise with Don. And so any chance that I get to go on this kind of trip with Don, it's definitely in the pro column. And then the third one is that I know I need to take some time off from traveling. And so I'd like to have an epic adventure that I could capture and that I could build content out of, that I could share with you guys. I would like to have that kind of epic adventure that I can pull from the experience, from the actual footage, that kind of thing, before I have to take a month off. So stack those three things up against the one con that maybe the inaugural cruise isn't going to be ready. Like I said, the pros far outweigh the cons. Now let's run through these excursion reservations. Now, if you've been tracking along with me for a while, you know that my approach has changed a little bit from how I do these port explorations. I've really been keen lately on doing my own exploration, getting a hop-on, hop-off bus, using things outside of the cruise line excursion system to go to places. I've had some poor excursion experiences being stuck on a bus all day, that kind of thing. And so when I went to look at these excursions, one thing I paid attention to was how much bus time was there and how many different things that you could see in one experience. And I kind of, balanced it out. Do I want to try to figure that out on my own, or do I want to use the cruise excursion experience, which I know is a little more pricey, but it also has a guarantee that they get you back to the cruise ship on time. And there was some great excursions out there. And so that's the route that I went. Now, of course, the cruise embarks in Barcelona. Going to get to Barcelona a day early. I don't have a plan yet for Barcelona. That's some research that I have to do. I'd love to be able to do kind of one iconic Barcelona thing the day before the cruise. We'll have to see how that works out. And then our very first cruise port stop is in Mallorca, which is in Palma. I looked at the excursions there. I didn't see anything. There was one that was already sold out, kind of a tour of the city. This does seem like a place that you can explore on your own. I'm looking forward to getting on board and talking to the destination expert, see really what our options are for Mallorca. So no excursion there, but I'm sure we're going to find something to get into. And then after Mallorca, we have a sea day, and then we go to Sicily. In Sicily, I booked this excursion, Mount Etna and time on your own, and Taormina. I'm sure I'm going to say these wrong, but I'll learn them before I get there. This is an interesting excursion. The Mount Etna is an active volcano where they're going to take you up to the volcano where you can see volcano stuff, and then you're going to come back and you're going to go to the city where you're going to get to do some exploration. Sounds like a really interesting time. After we leave Sicily, we have a sea day, and then we end up in Athens, Greece. And of course, I had to do something that had the Acropolis included in it. I lived in Nashville, Tennessee forever. There's a full-size, life-size replica, one-to-one replica of the Parthenon there, which is at the Acropolis. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And then there's some other great stops in Athens. This looks like it's going to be a really great tour. Again, not a lot of time on the bus, a lot of time getting out and exploring. This should be fantastic. From Athens, we travel to Turkey, to the city of Kusadasi. It's Ephesus, and I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I'm a huge Bible nerd. I'm a big fan of the Bible, and the opportunity to go to Ephesus is very exciting to me. And this excursion in Ephesus has a lot of Christian connections. I'm very looking forward to being in Ephesus. I could say a lot more about it, but I'm very excited to be in Ephesus. From Turkey, we head back to Greece. This time we go to Santorini. It's the famous city of the white houses up on the mountain with the blue domes. I've got a best of Santorini. It's going to be a big walking tour that day. I'm so excited to go see this. Again, this is an iconic bucket list place, and I'm very excited to go to Santorini. After we leave Santorini, we have a day at sea, and then we end up in Naples. And from Naples, we can go to the historic site of Pompeii. Of course, Pompeii, I don't know when it was discovered, but I feel like I was in elementary school when all of this breaking news happened that a city that had been covered by volcanic ash had been discovered by archaeologists, and it was, at the base of Mount Vesuvius. This is, and everybody says that this is an amazing place to see. It's tragedy, right? But still, it's just one of those things where nature has raised up against, humanity, and there's almost like a snapshot, a time capsule of the effects of that. So looking forward to going to Pompeii. So there you go. Those are the excursions. Now, did you key in on the one that I may have some trepidation about? It's Mount Etna. I'm very excited to go see an active volcano, but of course, near to my mind is the fairly recent tragedy that happened in 2020. Cruisers that went to visit an active volcano, White Island, where this volcano erupted. 20 cruisers passed away, 2 guides passed away. I watched the documentary on this. It's very tragic. It's very tragic. And it's, it just reminds you that when you go to places like an active volcano, that danger does exist, even though danger may not have existed for a period of time, that in a moment, life can change and lives will be lost. Part of me really wants to go to Mount Etna. I was very excited when I was booking it, but then as the few hours have passed, I'm like, is this the wisest thing to do? That would be a weird ending to my story, I think, and not one that I would relish. I would hate to lose my life just trying to see a volcano. Would you go on this Mount Etna volcano visit? Is there something that you would recommend in Barcelona or any of those other ports? Leave a comment below. If you'd like an example of what my import videos look like, there was this time I got scolded in Scotland. You may want to check this video out next. This is Tony for Lido, Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.